Our experience has been remarkable with Mike, unlike anyone I've had with a tradesperson before. It's been a joy to work with him. Everything he's promised to do, he has done and more. So it's been a fabulous journey, and our home now is infinitely better than it was before he arrived.
I think Mike exceeded our expectations right from the very beginning. When my husband first found Mike, he put round with a wonderful list of paint colours. He also gave us a very transparent and clear quote right at the very beginning, which he stuck to throughout. We paid a deposit, and he also kept in touch with us in the 6 months between when we initially found him and when he started work. And so right from the beginning, I think we knew that we trusted him. He was always very trustworthy. He always turned up when he said he was going to turn up. He's also extremely respectful and polite, and that's just about Mike himself. His work is something completely else because it's fantastic.
I found out about Mike through an exhaustive search of the Trustpilots, the Checkatrades of this world. I actually found Mike on Checkatrade. He had phenomenal reviews. In fact, I thought they were too good to be true. Now I understand why they were very accurate. So yes, it was through Checkatrade. I also wanted to, if possible, work with someone locally. We've been living in Putney Wandsworth for, well, getting on for 10 years now. So it's great to be able to have a local tradesperson working here. What stood out for us in choosing Mike was that he had a fabulous portfolio, which, if you went onto his website, gave you a really good idea of both the man and the type of work that he did. Also, his quote was very professional in the way in which it was put together and how it was communicated to us. And to be fair, it was a competitive quote as well. It wasn't the cheapest, it wasn't the most expensive, but we were reassured by his overall approach, and certainly don't regret for a second our decision to go with Mike. Mike has transformed our home. I should mention that we are one of 2 flat owners here in this particular building. Our neighbours downstairs haven't been here throughout the duration because before lockdown they moved out to the countryside. So it's a real testament to Mike that he's been able to keep them involved in the progress with videos, with updates and so forth. So the difference that Mike has made is he has transformed what we already loved as our home into something that when we walk down the street we feel a real sense of pride about. So it's an extraordinary experience all round.
Okay, I wish you could see our house before Mike started because it was a complete mess. All the paint was peeling off, the windows were dirty, the door had a load of cracks in it, the plasterwork was all falling off. And so Mike's job is to make it all good again, to paint it all, and to paint the door, obviously paint the frames, and he's also done a bit of work in here for us, which has been completely faultless. I think that's it on the work front.
My previous experience with tradespeople has, in all honesty, been mixed, particularly with builders and decorators for some reason. I have had some bad experiences where, frankly, the end product has not met the promise of what I was expecting. But for some reason, I've come to accept that. So Mike has come as a shock in that not only has he delivered on everything that he said he would do, but he's actually delivered a customer service that, frankly, I would have associated with John Lewis or a high street chain, and not with necessarily a local decorator. And I don't mean to decry local decorators. It's simply that he has been an exemplary case of someone who takes pride in customer service and delivering absolutely first-class quality in everything that he does.
I think I was expecting him to just do the job and that was it. And what I mean by that was to do exactly what he said he was going to do to a reasonable quality. And he's done so much more than that because he has done everything with such an eagle eye. He is a perfectionist and he won't let anything go that he thinks isn't absolutely perfect. And so that was our expectations completely exceeded right from day one, because it was very clear that he was going to do a really, really thorough job. He was also very consultative in the way that he works. He asks us questions, he has ideas, and I didn't expect anybody who did this kind of work to come with us to us with so many ideas. For example, on colour, he's an absolute expert on colour, and when we told him the colours we were thinking about, he sent along pictures of something else that he'd painted in the same colour to show us how good it would look. And he advised us on what the colours in the porch would look like. And I think now, if he'd said I wouldn't go with that colour, I would completely trust him, and I would go with another colour. So those were the ways in which he exceeded our expectations.
Our expectations were met and exceeded. We have found this joyful experience, and frankly, at the end of each day, we've looked forward to going outside with real excitement to see the obvious progress that Mike, an artist in his craft, has performed over the course of a day. So we are wildly happy with the quality of the work and the joyful way in which he's gone about it.
Our expectations were far exceeded. I think if somebody had come along and done a reasonable job, that would have been great, but Mike has done so much more than that. And not only that, but he is a really lovely person to have around. He is very tidy, which is important. He is respectful, and he is extremely reliable. But he's also somebody that genuinely wants to learn how to do a better job. So he's always listening to things, listening to podcasts, reading things, and sharing that information with us. And so it's been just a joy to have him around. Someone who's not only lovely to have around, but does a fantastic job, is the most perfect person that you would want.
What really stood out for me with the work that was done was the planning and the preparation. So not just the final product, which is exceptional, but so much time and thought going into preparation, discussing with us different choices, making sure that all of the groundwork was done, all of that horrible, boring stuff about putting anti-algae on, making good all of the brickwork, some really hard, seemingly pretty dull, boring work. But clearly, without building a canvas of that quality, he wouldn't have been able to paint these amazing brushstrokes that have produced what is, frankly, a work of art. So his attention to detail from start to finish is something that has really done him great credit. And I'll come back to the point that knowing that he lives just up the road and he's able to get here early and go home, we know where he lives, gives it an extra sense of special feeling when you're working with someone local who's part of your own community. I would recommend Mike because he is honest, he is a wonderful human being, he is a perfectionist, but not to the point of being annoying. He takes real pride in his work, he listens, he's a great listener, he has a good sense of humour, he's hugely respectful, and he is massively knowledgeable about his trade. He has a keen eye for detail, and he loves experimenting in a way that is proven but can bring extra dimensions that go beyond what you expect from his work. So there are so many things that I would recommend about him, but above all, I would say he's a genuine, wonderful human being who prides himself on delivering fantastic work and great customer service.
I would recommend Mike because he is a craftsman, a genuine craftsman, and because he does exactly what he says he's going to do, and he is utterly transparent in the work he does. So every week we get an invoice that says all the work that he's carried out and how much it costs, and it's exactly the estimate that he gave us right at the very beginning. And he will also work with the things that the ideas that we have as well, works extremely effectively with those. You just feel like you're dealing with an absolute professional. So that's why I would definitely recommend Mike.